I'm wondering, Samantha, if you could tell us, what does a city endorsement actually mean in practice? Is it symbolic, policy driven, or both? And maybe you could give us an example of one that you've recently accomplished in Southern California.
Great. Thank you, Judy. Thank you for having us here on this wonderful podcast. Yes, thank you for that question. So, the recent endorsement we have in Southern California is Culver City. And Culver City is a very key city right now because in 28, they are a host city of the Olympics. And part of the endorsement with Culver City, we also have implementation as part of the city motion that they passed. They passed unanimously. So part of the motion says they have to include a public education campaign, and they also have to change their language on their facilities reservation as well as their special events permit to include language about using plant-based food at events for their event organizers. And as an example, we have already seen that they've made these updates on their application forms, and as well as a newsletter that included segment on to asking the residents to add more plant-based food into their diet. So they're doing the education campaign as well as language change on their special events form. So this endorsement is very special, and they are doing walking the walk and not just talking the talk. And as part of the endorsement to plant-based treaty, they're encouraging our federal government and other national governments to also join the plant-based treaty.
Well, that's very significant, and bravo to Culver City. That just makes me. I actually met some city council members from Culver City a while back, but that is a great example, and I would love to see my city follow that example. Can you give us other concrete actions other cities can take after endorsing the treaty?
And, on the topic of all the action that other cities can take, I think Anita can share more about what the European cities are doing. Anita, would you like to share with us?
Thank you. So, three European cities have endorsed: Amsterdam, Belfast, and Edinburgh. And Edinburgh, when they endorsed, they divided into four parts. They looked at awareness raising or education, menu change, food waste, and influence and leadership. In other words, how to spread the treaty. And Amsterdam, when they endorsed, they agreed to vegan Fridays at all public institutions, a plant-based option every day at public institutions, and a commitment for all the residents to have 60% plant-based versus 40% animal protein by 2030. And the other thing that's happening in Netherlands, a lot of cities are endorsing now, and they've set up a working group to collaborate on implementation. So that's a way of scaling up, which is very exciting. Some of the other developments in Europe is France, Strasbourg endorsed, and they're providing subsidies for fruits and vegetables. So that's an exciting development. In Portugal, a number of cities have endorsed, and they're working with schools. And one of the plant-based counselors in the south of Portugal is going to organize a conference with many municipalities and see how they can coordinate. So we're at the stage of scaling up, and I know Sam's working on that as well in LA County.
That is amazing. I can't even believe it. One of the dreams I've always had is that we stop subsidizing animals and dairy, meat and dairy, and start subsidizing fruits and vegetables. So that is wonderful that we have them as an example to point to. Thank you for including that.
So I've been talking about the global level, but what's really exciting is Kimmy's working on local initiatives on Rhode Island, and I think we really need that kind of global perspective, but as well as local action.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about what we've been doing in Rhode Island. Yeah, I've been really excited to see these collaborations come together with local community groups in Providence, Rhode Island, that have been, long-standing organizations that have been engaged the community, whereas Plant-Based Treaty is a new initiative. So this is really one place where we really like to work with existing community organizations. And in particular, in Rhode Island and in Providence, we're working with Rhode Island Vegan Awareness, which is a longstanding animal rights organization that does work on local engagement, but also at the legislative level. And then we're also working with Plant Docs, which is a organization that was founded by a physician who saw over the 30 years of her career that every chronic disease was getting worse. And so she said, this is not progress. And she started her own organization to educate people and also medical professionals about using healthy, whole plant-based foods to reverse and prevent chronic diseases. And we've been really fortunate to be able to connect with and collaborate strongly with the Rhode Island Black Political Action Education Committee, who are a longstanding organization in the community that has been really involved in Providence and advocating for the Black community and low-income communities. And so we've really gotten together to really focus on food access and education around healthy eating. So we have these different pillars, different people are in the community who are excited about different aspects of plant-based food, whether it's the environment, whether it's health, whether it's animals. And so really bringing all these people together around solutions has been really exciting. And so one thing that we're doing right now is we're actually currently running a food drive, a plant-based food drive, where we're collecting plant-based staple pantry items. And our actual donation sites are at 3 different vegan businesses, vegan restaurants, and a yoga studio. And we're going to be delivering and giving out the food at the Southside Community Land Trust, which is another organization we've been working with. And they've been in the community for a long time. And they have deep roots into the community where there's a lot of people in need. And so it's really cool to be able to be a facilitator for, wealth and prosperity to be shifting from the, historically more affluent vegan community into lower income communities that are providing them healthy food and education around, what they can cook at home and how they can be part of the community and part of the movement to advocate for themselves alongside us when we go to places like City Hall and to the state government.